It's 8:47 a.m. You're running late, and you're wearing sunglasses indoors. You didn't plan to go to McDonald's, but somehow you wound up in the drive-thru, whispering your order like it's a confession. And then it hits you. That smell, that sizzle, that little paper sleeve holding a golden, crispy oval that absolutely did not need to go that hard. McDonald's hash browns aren't just good, they're emotional support potatoes. Crispy on the outside, potato perfection on the inside. These tasty handheld side dishes are so untouchable, they've even outsold McDonald's fries. So what is it about them that makes them so elite? Well, today we're peeling the potatoes, heating up the oil, and tossing in the seasoning to figure out why McDonald's hash browns hit different. But before we dig in, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. Then let us know in the comments below your hash brown eating strategy. Do you eat it first, save it for last, or shove it into your McMuffin like a breakfast anarchist? No wrong answers. Okay, time to hash it out. Okay, it's 1977. The Bee Gees are strutting through the charts, America's hair is feathered, and McDonald's, already a fast food titan, decides to do the unthinkable: serve breakfast. And not just any breakfast. A full, grab-it-on-your-way-to-being-late morning menu loaded with tantalizing items. Pretty much every fast food joint offers breakfast these days, but at the time, this wasn't an obvious move. Before the Egg McMuffin, fast food breakfast didn't really exist. Burger joints opened at 10:30, and if you wanted eggs before that, you had to go to a diner or make them yourself like some kind of peasant. But Ray Kroc, the man behind McDonald's expansion into one of the biggest corporations in history, saw a gap in the market and filled it with sausage and cheese. The Egg McMuffin was the first to hit, created by franchisee Herb Peterson in 1971. It was basically an Egg Benedict you could eat while yelling at traffic. And it was a hit. It was such a hit, in fact, that by 1977, McDonald's rolled out a full breakfast menu featuring pancakes, sausage, coffee, and at long last, the legendary hash brown. Unlike the typical shredded potato hash, Mickey D's hash browns came shaped like a rounded rectangle, a golden brick of hot, greasy comfort. It wasn't McDonald's first attempt at potato-based breakfast. There were chunky home fries in some early regional menus, and even a deep-fried potato patty in testing. But the current hash brown, crispy on the outside, mashed together shreds on the inside, was born from the need for something that could be made quickly and held in one hand. The recipe itself was refined by the McDonald's Food Innovation Lab. Yeah, that's a real thing. They worked closely with frozen food suppliers like Simplot, the same folks behind their iconic fries. And together, they locked in a hash brown that could be frozen, shipped, cooked in the same oil as fries, and still tasted like a warm hug from a breakfast clown. When McDonald's breakfast launched nationally in the late 1970s, the hash brown came with it. But scaling this crispy disc to thousands of locations came with challenges. The biggest challenge being consistency. McDonald's had already mastered the art of standardizing fries, and hash browns were treated similarly. They had to be manufactured, frozen, and shipped with as few surprises as possible. They couldn't be too oily, couldn't fall apart, couldn't have a weird aftertaste, and they had to hold their own against the growing competition. As McDonald's entered the breakfast game, its fast food foes scrambled to catch up. For example, Burger King launched their breakfast menu in 1983, featuring little round hash brown coins. But nothing could touch the Golden Arch's golden brown breakfast square. None of it touched the McDonald's hash brown. By the 80s, it was a beloved part of the breakfast combo. People were actively choosing it over fries. As the browns got more and more popular, tweaks to the formula were made behind the scenes. McDonald's food innovation specialists experimented with different oil blends over the years. For example, the U.S. recipe removed beef tallow in the 90s, replaced it with vegetable oil, and added natural flavorings to compensate. But otherwise, the beloved hash brown remained, more or less, intact. So how did this humble patty go from side dish to breakfast icon? Here's the thing. McDonald's hash browns aren't just good. They are engineered to hit every pleasure center in your brain. Crispy, salty, fatty, portable. They're like a tater tot with a gym membership. And while other fast food joints have tried to one-up them, we're looking at you, Chick-fil-A mini hash rounds. Nobody has cracked the code. McDonald's hash browns are made in a very specific way. They start with a blend of russet Burbank and shepherding potatoes, which are high in starch starch and ideal for crisping. The potatoes are shredded, par-cooked, shaped into those distinctive ovals, then flash frozen and shipped. At the restaurant, they're deep-fried in oil, around 360 to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, until golden brown. That's it. No flipping, no drama, just crispy efficiency. Even better, they're cooked in the same fryers as the fries. So if you're a fan of that McDonald's fry flavor, like every living thing in this universe and possibly the next, you're getting some of that same salty golden magic with every bite. Over the years, McDonald's has toyed with other breakfast potatoes. There was the Big Breakfast, which came with a scoop of weirdly whipped hash, and in some international markets, like the Philippines or India, they've tried different versions of breakfast potatoes. But the US has always come back to the hash brown oval. But even these golden, crispy little units of joy weren't immune to controversy. Let's rewind to the beef tallow we mentioned earlier, also known as the Great Hash Brown debacle of the 90s. For years, vegetarians had been happily dipping their fries and hash browns into ketchup, blissfully unaware that the flavor came from beef fat. McDonald's used a blend of vegetable oil and beef tallow for their signature taste. So when it came out that their meat-free sides weren't actually vegetarian, the backlash was intense. The company got hit with legal action, PR chaos, and enough angry letters to wallpaper every McDonald's place. In response, McDonald's updated their labeling and eventually changed the recipe, swapping out their beef tallow for a vegetable oil blend. But that was not the end of the oil drama. In 2008, McDonald's made another switch, this time to a canola-based oil blend to reduce trans fats. Health-wise, it was a win, but flavor-wise, that's where the debate still sizzles. Some people claim the hash browns haven't hit the same since, that the crispy, savory magic lost a step. There's also been plenty of online discourse about the availability of hash browns. For years, people had raged over the fact that you can't order them after 10:30 a.m. Even after McDonald's launched all-day breakfast in 2015, depending on the location, hash browns weren't always included. For some reason, they got left behind like the breakfast version of Cinderella's slipper. Despite all that, McDonald's hash browns remain one of the most beloved items on the menu. According to sales data, they're consistently a top seller in the breakfast category, often beating out McGriddles and breakfast burritos. Today's hash browns are largely the same as they've always been: crispy, salty, cheap, and weirdly perfect. They're made in massive frozen food facilities where potatoes are washed, peeled, shredded, blanched, seasoned, and formed before getting a quick pre-fry and freeze. That process creates the signature texture: soft inside, sturdy outside, built for crunch. That singularly delicious seasoning is mostly just salt, pepper, and natural beef flavoring, which is still technically vegetarian, but the vibes are unclear. There are no secret herbs or spices, because the real magic is in the texture and fry. Today, McDonald's uses a canola blend that includes soybean oil and hydrogenated corn oil, which means it's stable enough for high heat and consistent cooking. The hash browns cook for about 3 minutes in oil that's kept between 360 degrees and 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to crisp, fast enough to serve without delay. And when it's done right, you get that perfect McDonald's crunch that just doesn't happen in home kitchens. Why not? Because very few of us have an industrial-grade fryer that's been seasoned by 10,000 baskets of fries. That's why. Let's be honest, McDonald's hash browns are not fancy. They're not artisanal. They're not even trying to be healthy. But they are perfect at what they do. They taste the same every time, no matter where in the United States you are ordering. They're handheld. They satisfy a craving you didn't know you had until you smelled them. And somehow, they feel like the reward you get just for making it out of bed. And let's face it, sometimes that deserves an award. So what do you think? When and how do you like to eat your hash browns? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out some of these other weird history food videos.